President.
Thank you. Again, this is the subcommittee meeting, the Transportation Infrastructure and Funding Subcommittee. Thank you all for being here this morning. We have 4 bills, but first I'd like to say HB 1750 has asked, the patron has asked that we strike that bill.
Move to strike.
Second.
Which one's that?
1750.
Oh, okay.
And that needs a bill. Need a vote on that? All in favor, can please show your preference on.
Do you want to take a roll?
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. I got started. Didn't take the roll. So let's do this first. Indicate your presence, please. Thank you. We have a quorum. Thank you. Now we will move, as I mentioned, HB 1750. Delegate Ennis has asked that we strike his bill. We'll have a
Second.
thank you, and then we'll have a vote on that, please, on the board. Vote is to strike 1750. That motion passed 6-0. Thank you. And now we will hear HB 2020 from our esteemed patron, Delegate Gilbert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 2020 simply adds the town of Newmarket to an existing list of towns under a certain population threshold that are eligible for state highway maintenance, construction, reconstruction funds for their streets. Apparently, any town over 3,500 population already gets these funds and conveys this responsibility. Again, this would just add Newmarket to the list of towns enumerated there in the code section. They have been working with their local VDOT residency for some time now to prepare for this eventuality, and their town council has voted unanimously to request this authority and responsibility. So at the committee's pleasure, I'm happy to answer any questions such as I'm able, but they understand that all these roads have to be maintained to VDOT standards, and again, they're prepared to take on that responsibility.
Thank you, Delegate.
Yes, ma'am.
Questions from any of the committee members? Anyone in the audience to speak in favor of this bill? Anyone opposed? All right,
Madam Chair, move to report.
Second.
All right, let's go to the board. Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Your bill passes 7-0.
It's about as good as it's going to get for me, probably, but thank you, Madam Chair.
I close the vote. All right. We're electronically in compliance now. We'll move to HB 2138. Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 2138 is a bill I'm carrying for VDOT. It's a cleanup bill that would eliminate duplicative reporting requirements, and I will defer, if I might, to somebody who knows much more about it. If I could ask, Joanne, do you mind to explain this one better than I can?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, you heard this morning about other efficiencies being accomplished by other state agencies. This is an efficiency that VDOT is attempting to accomplish by reducing 2 reports that we have to submit annually. Well, yeah, annually. The first is just one report that in essence is duplicative. We have to report on the use of funds in the Innovation and Technology Transportation Fund in 2 places in 2 reports. One is an annual report for that fund we do every year, and then another place we have to report on the use of those funds is in the VDOT biennial report every 2 years. We just want to eliminate the latter, the requirement to report in the latter. So we'd still be doing the annual report on that fund. The second aspect of this bill is we're trying to repeal a requirement for a report that was tied to a subsection in the Code of Virginia that was implemented or enacted in 2012. We reported for years on that pursuant to 2 enactment clauses associated with that subsection of code. That subsection of code was repealed in 2022, but they failed to repeal the 2 enactment clauses that were tied to that subsection. As a result, we're having to basically report information that's tied to enactment clause, that's tied to a subsection of code that no longer exists. And so we're asking to be able to eliminate that report as well.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. Any questions for the delegate or Ms. Maxwell on this bill? Anyone to speak in favor of this bill in the audience? Anyone in opposition? Committee moves by motion.
Move to report.
Let's go to the board. Clerk will close the roll. Delegate, your bill reports 7-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Julie.
And we have remaining HB 1615, Delegate Bagans.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. First, I believe I have an amendment to move.
Move the amendment, the motion.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to present House Bill 1615 for roadway noise analysis. This bill addresses a pressing concern brought forth by constituents living not just in Virginia Beach, but other communities who have to endure it daily. The impact of excessive noise pollution and safety concerns due to lack of barriers has been happening, and that is why the constituents brought this towards me. Currently, there is no process identified by working with the agencies where a constituent can voice concerns and action can be taken. Many of these residents have complained for 30-plus years, and everyone keeps telling them that that's just the way it is. Current rules or regulations are set, or residents knew when they moved near a highway or barrier, that's what they were getting. I have promised to these residents that I will not kick the can down the road without attempting for creative solutions looking to remove red tape to address these constituents' concerns. For residents living near highway or major transportation projects, this gap leaves many without relief with the persistent noise that disrupts their quality of life. HB 1615 provides a solution for ensuring timely and affordable responses to these issues. Under this legislation, the Commonwealth Transportation Board and VDOT will be required to begin a noise analysis within 1 year of receiving a valid petition. Then conduct a noise analysis for potential retrofitment of noise abatement projects without having a dedicated funding. Next, finally, the results of these noise analysis will be made public on the respective websites to provide transparency and accountability. This bill reflects a commitment to the health and well-being of Virginia's residents by addressing noise pollution and safety concerns, a factor that studies have linked to both physical and mental impact. Importantly, this bill would not mandate the Commonwealth to utilize any state funds to initiate a construction project. I've worked with congressional staff members that have stated that by having a sound wall analysis on file, this would actually speed up the process when large federal highway funds becomes available. I respectfully urge that the members of the subcommittee report favorably on this bill.
Thank you, Delegate. And can you repeat what the amendment does?
The amendment would on line 33, insert the successful completion of a state-funded noise analysis shall not require the Commonwealth to dedicate any state funds to the construction of a sound wall.
Thank you. Questions for the delegate? Questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have a question.
Delegate Mildy?
Yes, thank you. Madam Chair, the amendment confuses me a little bit. How is it, if the study were to determine that a sound barrier was necessary, I assume that's what could happen, how is it that no state funding would have to be dedicated to that construction project?
Delegate?
Yes, Madam Chair, what that came about was from actually working with VDOT and hearing their concerns that one of the issues that mainly our constituents were asking for was trying to figure out if there was an issue, and then stating that they did not want to have having this potential legislation require. We know how expensive sound walls could potentially be, and we know that the majority of these type of projects should be funded by federal dollars. This is to help out with potential federal projects, because we know currently right now we would not be able to fix every single issue that's happening across the Commonwealth with our state dollars.
Madam Chair, follow-up, please.
Delegate?
So it's conceivable that the study would be, which I believe would have to be paid for by state dollars, would determine that a sound wall was necessary, but the funding might not actually be available to remedy the problem or create the sound wall.
That is correct, Madam Chair. The major point of this bill is to provide the information to the public and to potential policymakers down the road who would be able to, when those dollars were available, to help out and fix the issue.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Delegate Austin, did you have a question?
My concerns have been addressed.
All right. Other questions, concerns? All right. Anyone to speak in favor of this bill in the audience? Anyone in favor, anyone in opposition? You please step forward and state your name.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee, I'm Angel Deem with VDOT. We have not seen the amendment, so I can't speak on that. We do have a position of oppose on the original bill, however. So we've identified a number of issues and challenges associated with the legislation. So first I'll start by stating that VDOT performs noise analyses in concert with identified and funded projects. The bill creates two paradigms for considering noise analyses outside of the established process. So one, as you heard, with the receipt of a valid petition, the department would be required to conduct analysis within a year, a noise analysis within a year. So state resources would need to be identified to define what valid petition means, and also the conduct of such studies, as well as funding to perform those studies. It also creates a second paradigm for requiring that the department perform noise analyses for retrofit noise barriers. There's no existing program in the Commonwealth to do so, so state resources would be necessary to create such a program. It can enjoy federal participation if a program is established. However, state resources would continue to be necessary for the conduct of the study, as there's an 80-20 split with federal to state dollars. The department also finds it problematic to perform studies and identify potential barriers without a means to implement solutions for the identified barriers. And then finally, to post all noise studies to our public website is somewhat problematic. We do post noise studies for projects that enjoy a dedicated website. But the vast majority of our projects do not have a dedicated website, so this creates an additional administrative burden for the agency, and for all these reasons, we oppose the introduced bill.
Thank you. Tell me again about the website.
There's a requirement in the bill to post all noise analyses to the department or the Commonwealth Transportation Board's website.
And then you said there are some.
So some of the larger studies that have a dedicated website, we do post documentation, including the noise analysis, should one have been conducted. This would require us to post all of them.
Right, and so what's the percentage of the projects that would have that on there?
That we would have, I would say, for projects that have a dedicated website, it's 5% or less.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Delegate Reed.
Yes, Madam Chair, if it's appropriate, I'd like to make a motion because I recognize and empathize with the folks down in Virginia Beach, as this is an issue across the Commonwealth as new construction is developed, and even as existing traffic increases, there's more noise now than there was before. But I think that there are some outstanding issues, and I'd like to make a motion to just pass this by for the day so that we can bring this up next week and hopefully try to address some of the concerns from VDOT.
Thank you. Delegate Austin, did you have something?
Well, Madam Chair, I did. I have a question for VDOT. What now initiates a requirement for a study, a traffic noise study with VDOT?
Sure. So an identified and funded project that meets the criteria for a noise study are those generally that construct a new highway on new location, or that physically alter the existing highway in a way that significantly changes the horizontal and vertical alignment. So those are the triggers that classify the project as being a type 1 project, as it's termed in the federal regulation. So that's what requires us to complete a noise analysis.
Madam Chair, follow up.
Delegate Austin.
So I would venture to say that most of our major interstate highway projects now require a traffic study. Would that be a fair assessment?
Madam Chair, Delegate Austin, yes.
Madam Chair, follow up.
Delegate Austin.
What is can you give us a range of costs for a traffic analysis study, noise study?
Madam Chair, Delegate Austin, the average that we identified is $500,000 for a noise analysis. They vary widely depending on the complexity of the given project or study, but that's the average.
Average of $500,000. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we have a motion. Second. All right. Let's go to the board. The motion is to carry forward the bill for 1 week.
Madam Chair, The motion was not to pass by indefinitely, it was to pass by for the day. This needs to be changed.
All right, we're gonna destroy the roll and we'll start again. Yes, sir. A recorded vote. If we can do a voice vote if we need to. We can just do a voice vote. Well, if we can, you can call the roll, please, and we'll do a voice roll on the motion to pass by for the day. HB 1615, Delegate Begins. You can just go down here. Delegate Watts.
Delegate Carr.
Yay.
Delegate Carr votes yea. Delegate Watts.
Not here. Delegate Reed.
Delegate Reed.
Aye.
Delegate Glass.
Aye.
Delegate Glass votes aye. Delegate Reed voted aye. Delegate Austin.
Aye.
Anthony.
Delegate Anthony.
Aye.
Delegate Anthony voted aye. Delegate Austin voted aye. Delegate Wyatt.
Aye.
Delegate Wyatt voted aye. Delegate Mildy.
Aye.
Delegate Mildy voted aye. Votes are 6, and no negative votes.
All right. Clerk will close the roll, and Delegate Fagans, your bill 1615 passes by for the day.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other business to come before the committee?
Madam Chair, move to adjourn.
Committee's